Hey guys, Steve Forcash here with Forest Design Studio. So this is going to be a quick tutorial on editing your photos before you upload them to your website. And the idea here is if you have an image that you've downloaded, whether it's from Unsplash, which is one of the repositories that we like, or anywhere else, you might have this image that's 4,000 pixels wide and 3 megabytes large, and that's just huge when you're asking people then to download that to your website. So I'm going to show you the process that we go through typically. Photoshop is a great tool for this, and honestly, that's the platform that we use typically when we're doing photos. But for those of you that don't have Photoshop, we're going to give you kind of an alternative here. So again, Unsplash is somewhere that we tend to grab stock photos from. It's completely free and everything, every image in here is under the Creative Commons no attribution license, which means you can use them to do whatever you want. So it's generally a great place to kind of start off. So I'm going to pick this image right here, and we are going to download that. And that should go down my downloads folder. And once that's there, I'm going to go to pixlr.com. It's Pixlr.com. And then once we're there, we're going to open their Pixlr editor. Sometimes this takes a second to load. And this is basically a browser-based version of Photoshop, or as close to it as you're going to get. I'm going to go to Open Image from Computer, and I'm in my Downloads folder. This should be the most recent one that I just downloaded from Unsplash. And as you're going to see here, the file size right now is 3.7 megabytes. Again, that's just huge, and we need to get that down. So we're going to open that. A couple things to notice here. So it started me off on this kind of crop tool right here. So if I were using this and didn't necessarily want portrait-oriented image, I might crop this to something that's a little bit more landscape. And we will crop that. All right, next piece is we want to change the image size. So if I go to image and then image size, you're going to see right now this is 3,137 pixels wide. Typically, if I'm editing a photo for a website, I'm thinking about it in terms of a screen size. So full high definition 1080 is going to be 1920 pixels wide. So typically about 2,000. So you can just use 2,000 as a round number. If you have an image that's going to go in somewhere on your site that's typically taking up half the width of the screen, you're going to go with 1,000 pixels, 500 for a quarter of the screen, so on and so forth. I'm going to set this up as a full width background image, so I'm going to hit this little down arrow and then move this slider until we get this down to 2,000 pixels. And I'm going to click OK. So now we've resized the image. The next thing we need to do is compress the image, and we'll do that during the saving process. So we're going to go up to File, Save. I'm typically going to rename this file right now. I use BG, some sort of BG for background so that I know it's going to be a full width background image. I'm going to call these white shoes, and then I'll usually put the number of pixels wide at the end of that file name. You can use a different file naming convention if you'd like. I just recommend using something consistent. Next thing is we're looking at, or really the last thing we're looking at, is this quality setting. So the default is 80. Realistically, you're looking at the size of this file right now, and they're saying it's going to be about 434 kilobytes. Now, that's a great difference from where we started, which was up at 3 point something megabytes. But for a full width background image, I'm typically looking to definitely get under 200 kilobytes, and if possible, down to about 150 or lower. Typically, I'm going to take this slider and move me down to about a 41 to start. And I'm going to see what that gets me. So that gets me down to 217, which is pretty close. I think I can go a little bit lower here, so I'm usually going to go to 31. For really detailed images, there's sometimes no way around it. You're either going to get a higher file size or you're going to have to bring the quality of the photo down significantly. The good news is that's usually pretty transparent when you're looking at it on your screen. If you were to go to print that image, it would be a problem. But for your website, typically a 31 is going to be just fine. And if you start getting lower than that, you'll just have to find a balance that works for you. I'm going to be okay with 184 kilobytes in this case. I'm going to hit OK. I'm just going to add the .jpeg suffix or file extension, hit save, and we are done. We've resized the image, we've compressed it, and that image is now ready to be uploaded. Just to give you an example, I'm going to look at these two photos side by side. So this is the original photo here, which was 3.7 megabytes. And you can see the quality level there. I'm going to open up the white shoes. This one we've cropped. But if you look at this side by side with the other image, to the naked eye, we probably could have taken that down to a quality level of about 21 or even lower. So without getting ultra technical here, find a balance that works for you. Get your file size as low as possible, and don't upload images that are larger than 2,000 pixels wide to your website unless you are specifically targeting some sort of retina screen or doing something along those lines. But typically speaking, 2,000 pixels wide, under 200 kilobytes. Smaller is better. That's it. Have a great day.